Hey, talking about estimating for costs of Cimentart Microcement, specifically again, uh, Cimentart is different than other microcements. Of course, we're the best in Europe now for the 6 years running in 2025 here. But the cost for buying the material is going to vary slightly if you're going to do the very thin cementitious layers or the semi-thin aqua microconcrete, or if you're going to have, here, I'll do this here. So if you're going to be covering tile, then you're going to need the base coat and the mesh, the two base coats and the mesh layer. Or if you're doing more floors, these are always done on a floor. So for this whole system, for primer, mesh, base coat 1, base coat 2, fine coat 1, fine coat 2, sealer, poly coat 1, and poly coat 2, if you can see all that, it may not be easily seen. That runs about $8 a foot plus shipping. So think in terms of $8 a foot. If you're gonna price it out, if you got less tile on the wall to cover and they're smooth, more walls and ceilings in your estimate that are already smooth, it's gonna drop down towards $5 a foot. It's just because you don't need the mesh and two base coats. So if your floors, you've had a lot of floors in your project, you're gonna need the mesh and base coats. So it's gonna pop it up towards the $8 a foot for materials, which is kind of like in the tile world, tile plus mastic, but plus grout, plus sealer and all that kind of stuff. Our primers all through the sealer and polys all come in that $8 a foot estimate. So ship us, send us an email with your square footage or your local Cimentart rep that we're spinning out through as many states and provinces of US and Canada as we can. And I think we have 9 now in May of 2025. In fact, one's coming live in Portland, Oregon area very shortly, within days or a week. So anyway, the system here, about $8 a square foot. Again, for your estimates, I did an estimate for a house in Pennsylvania, more like about 6,000 square feet, and 1,200 of that was floors. So it needed the mesh and base. And even then, with all of that, for the larger project, you save money on, you don't have to buy the small bottles, so you're going to save money on packaging costs. So that whole thing I think came out to $4.30 a foot plus shipping. But again, think in terms of $8 a foot, and then you're not surprised if you only need an extra 80 square feet for a backsplash or a countertop or something. But if you're doing the bigger project, of course, that per foot cost on materials only will drop. So that's a good way to think on how to estimate for Cimentart Microcement on any of your projects in the US and Canada.